Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me for our Project Share Project Blog Hop and this accompanying video for that. It is a hop with my pals over at the Project Share Project group. So Jill, Jez and Heather have also made cards for the hop today, which is themed on simple stamping. So these are cards that are going to be really nice and easy for beginner stampers to achieve, or experienced stampers to be able to produce quick cards when they need them. Okay, so if you would click into the description, there's going to be a link to my blog, and within that blog there'll be links to the other guys. Okay, I should imagine that all of them will produce videos for their projects too, not necessarily today, but look out for those too. Okay, so my simple stamping project is this one. I have gone purple today. I haven't used purple in ages, and it felt like I was using it all the time. And when I was thinking about what to do for this project, I was pulling out some colours and I'm like, do you know what, I haven't used purple for ages. So this is it. We've got some Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape stamping there on a Gorgeous Grape what's this called, card base. Simple stamped sentiment, which has just been punched out. Little bow that you can add or not, as the case may be. Maybe we'll just change that up slightly on the other sample. A couple of rhinestones, and that is it. It was really easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to make it. The stamp set is Flowing Flowers, okay, which is absolutely gorgeous, and you've got a variety of different images to choose from there, and some great companion sentiments too. I've done cards with this before as well, so it's really nice and easy to use, and it's cling mount, and it's just going to work superbly for you if you are a beginner in particular. Alright, so in my usual fashion, I'm going to mix up the card colours. I am going to go pink, and I'm going to bring in Melon Mambo for my card base. The stamped portion is a layer which I deliberately cut to make sure we see some of that Melon Mambo come back. So if you use a full card layer, oh actually that piece will do too. Full card layer, you don't see a peak of it going round, but then you get more of the stamping. The one I'm opting for, you get a nice generous border there, okay, or sometimes I use these mini layers, and obviously that gives you a lot more of the surround as well, which you could then stamp on as well, and everything. In fact, shall we do that as something different? Shall I mix it up and we'll stamp on the background? And I wasn't intending to do that, but we'll do that. And I might leave this layer out. No, that's a bit big. No, that's fine. We'll just leave it. We'll do that instead, right? Okay, still going to be really super simple to achieve, right? We're just going to add in a little half step along the way, okay? And in fact, we're going to start with that, I think. We're going to do a bit of stamping around the edge of here, okay? Now I'm going to bring in, this is the small grid paper pad thing, okay, designed to coordinate with your stamper artist, but I find it really handy as a quick pad of paper that you can bring out for messy stuff, okay. And in fact, I'm going to bring in just this piece here that was just, I tore it off before, but I'm going to use it just for this bit. So I'm just slotting that inside my card base there, so that I can go around the edge and not get any underneath onto that underside, and still get round to the top of this layer too. Alright, so I'm still just going to stick with one stamp, and use this small image. So Melon Mambo is the card base, so I've got Melon Mambo ink, and my companion pink that I've picked out is Flirty Flamingo. Could have gone Blushing Bride, but it's a bit paler. This will still got a bit of pop to it. So with the Melon Mambo, so what this is basically called tone on tone, if you like, because we're using the same ink onto the matching card base, right? So we're going to do, so if you are watching and you are a beginner, this is our you know, just opened up the stamp pad there to reveal the inked portion. Okay, and that is just resting on top of the pad, and I'm just tapping. I'm not pushing down into the ink pad. It's not like a mattress where you want to go all squishy and stuff. Light tapping all over, and just sort of a bit of a round in a circle. It just means the ink distributes on your stamp nicely. And then you press down and up, and you'll get your images transferring across to your cardstock. Now I'm doing that quite quickly because I've been doing this for a very long time. Okay, light tapping, press down, and you might notice as well that I'm trying to rotate the stamp a little bit to get different parts of it showing along that edge. I'm just turning that cardstock round because it's easier than twiddling about with your wrist. And when we get to that top bit, I'm just going to move that onto this other piece of paper here and continue that. There's literally no right or wrong way to do this. Okay, you just go around the edge, bish bash bosh, done. Right, we could almost leave it at that. It's just something floated on there. Okay, so now you can see, where's my sample gone? Okay, so we've got a bigger border, but we've got the interest in the border with that stamping. Shall I just bring that up closer just so that you've got a better view? Yeah? Okay, so another really quick, easy way to add some detail to your project without necessarily adding more tools and faff and bother. Okay, so as you might imagine, we're going to do something very similar. I'm going to clean that stamp because I've got the dark ink on there. If I was going from light ink to dark ink, sometimes I'm a bit naughty and I don't clean it, but we'll take off that dark ink from the stamp, which I'm just doing on my chamois, which is just in the drawer next to me. So I've got a nice clean stamp now, and I'm going to bring in my Flirty Flamingo. And we're going to basically repeat that again with this light colour. That's going to be really annoying, so I'm just going to put a silicone mat underneath that so it doesn't keep banging on the desk. Light tapping, and we're just going to repeat exactly what we've just done, but possibly just come in a little bit because we're going to go round again with the dark ink. And we still want this bit to show. Hope that makes sense. You'll see what I mean in a minute anyway. If you think you've got a gap, cover it up, but we're going to go around with the other one anyway. So we've got much more of a smaller window on this because it is a smaller panel. Just going to wipe that off. So like that one's got a lot more white space in the middle because it was a bigger panel, right? So the effect is going to be slightly different, depending on how you choose to cut your layers. So we'll bring back Melon Mambo ink, the darker ink, and we go around again. So the technique is super simple. Yeah, all we're doing is stamping around the edge of our cardstock in any old fashion, twisting and turning. You cannot go wrong. Okay, now I'm using tone on tone colours. This sort of, you know, they're both pink if you like. Nothing to stop you mixing up some different colour combinations there, whatever you fancy. Okay, so now we've done that. That is pretty much done, really, you know. The only thing we've got to do now is stamp a sentiment. Let's put this away. If you've not used a Stampin' Up ink pad before, they pull over all the way to the end, flip over, and then they're closed. And the advantage of that is that when they are closed, the ink is actually upside down. The pad's upside down now, which means the ink stays to the top. So it's always going to be ready to go. I'm keeping it simple with just using black ink for the sentiment, so sticking with my nice thank you here. I want to give this to a neighbour actually. So again, it was all light tapping, straight down, straight up, and you get a really great image Really great image every time, because the stamps are cut so well. And again, rather than die cutting or introducing any other fancy machines, I'm going to go to a punch to cut out this sentiment. Now I've gone with this one because it's kind of round, but not, yeah, in terms of, it's not rectangular in any way, right? So there's a whole menagerie of punches in the catalogue. Have a quick look through. Anything you're interested in, let me know. And we could opt to have the straight sides top and bottom, or the curved sides top and bottom. It's entirely up to you. And it is quite a generous gap round there, so you've got some playroom there. Just going to take off the side there because I can't get that in as far as I want it to. A bit of live surgery there for you. Just wanted to push that in just a little bit further, just so that I can make sure that that's well centered on the in the punch. Just look for that bottom of the U and the top of the T look like they're sort of central, without making the sentiment look a bit off, because if I do that, the sentiment sort of wanders off to the right a little bit. So I'm going to go about there, I think. That's probably the hardest decision I've had to make on this card. Where to punch the image. You could have done that in colour cardstock. You could have applied some ink first. We could even put a little bit of stamping over it or anything like that. So choice is yours. I think it probably would have looked better that way, but you know, hey ho, it is what it is. No mistakes in card making. You just learn as you go along. Now, I was toying with the idea of introducing another layer on this, and I think because we've got that additional stamping, I think I'm going to do it just to help that layer lift off. So if I just put that little bit of white behind it, it's just going to make that really, really pop. So I'm going to bring in the trimmer. Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't tell you the measurement of this because we switched around at the last minute. I was going to do it 3.5 by 5 1/4, but this is going to be 3 by 4 3/4. Yeah, okay. 3 by 4 3/4, which means we need this 3 1/8. Just add an 1/8 on. By 4 3/4 is there, so add an 1/8 is 4 7/8 of an inch. So just making that just fractionally bigger than the stamped panel that we've already got. That's what happens when you decide to change your plan off at the beginning of your video, right? Okay, it's not a problem, it's fine. I think that's actually been quite useful for you guys to see a different way of doing it actually, but using exactly the same simple stamping technique. This is just Stamp and Seal, my favourite to go to adhesive for my card making, because it's nice and quick, easy, clean, don't get a mess with it, generally speaking. Okay, but you use whatever adhesive you like. Now I think when we put that on there, that's going to pop even more. Do you see how much of a difference that makes, just putting that extra layer in? Okay, really, really cool. And nothing was difficult about that. Just need to add the a slightly larger layer behind it. Okay, so ribbon wise then, I have cut a little strip of what's this called? Oh, I use this so often I should know I probably should know the catalogue number off by heart as well. This is the Crinkled seam binding ribbon. That's it, it's come to me, right? Little bunny ears around in a knot. Twiddle with your loops until you've got a nice bow. And I think what I might do as well is just wrap some around the back. Ooh, getting to the end of a roll. White ribbon is superb to have in your stash because you can also colour it. So if I wanted to make this melon mambo, I could use a Stamp and Blend marker and just go over that. And make it whatever colour I like. I'm looking for something and I can't think what it is, and it's this. It's this that's the seal, which I'm just putting on the back there just to secure this, so that I can just whiz it round the front a couple of times. In no particular fashion, I'm just whizzing round it. I'm not going to overthink it, I'm just going to do it. Okay, and we're going to put that down flat, so we'll just put a bit more of our adhesive on the back of there. And pop that down. Like so, preferably straight. Ooh. You've got a little bit of a, if you don't press down too hard and it hasn't contacted yet, sometimes you've got a bit of a chance to correct that if it just goes a bit wonky. Sentiment can go on with a couple of our dimensionals, like so. So we're going to overlap the ribbon, and actually I'm going to overlap the border on the other one because it was a larger border, I couldn't do it. But I do like to do this because it immediately breaks the border, which means it draws your eye into the design. Okay, so I'm going to pop that there. I think that's straight. It's straight enough, she says. Okay, and then the bow I'm going to put on with a glue dot, which I have put down as soon as I wanted to use them. There they are. Glue dot is a really nice way to add ribbons in particular, because you just press it onto the dot, onto the roll, pull it off, and they are really strong. So we can just pop that bow on, so it's not obscuring our sentiment, like so. Whoops a daisy, sorry. Scissors were underneath the ink pad, didn't realise. Cut those tails off. And that's our ribbon done, and we can just add a bit of bling with some iridescent rhinestones. I totally adore these things. These are brilliant because they really tone in with any card project. Totally optional, you don't have to add the rhinestones at all. You could go with something different, leave them off entirely. Pearls would look nice. You could colour the pearls or the rhinestones as well. So loads of options for you there. So I think I'm going to be rather extravagant and add. So I'm still keeping to my odd numbers. So odd numbers always look pleasing to the eye. So usually I do 3. And if there's 3 sizes, it's a large, medium and a small up there. But I'm going to extend that into the card there by adding the extra couple to make it 5. Okay, sorry, I just have to put these away, otherwise they'll end up walking about on my desk and then I'll lose them. Okay, that's done. That is done. Okay, so I say colouring ribbon, easy peasy. Just bring back my little pad just for a second. If you wanted to, we could have made this Melon Mambo ribbon just by running. This is a blend marker. Could do it with the and that will dry very quickly because it's alcohol based, and the alcohol will dry off. It's very thin, so a couple of strokes over the top will colour both sides. We do have the Stampin' Up markers as well, which are water based, which you could do exactly the same thing with, but it's going to take a time to dry. Okay, just to bear that in mind. Okay, so white ribbon, fantastic addition to your craft stash, because it has lots of mileage in terms of doing those kinds of things. So there we go, that's our finished project for the video today. This was the original sample. Now, I like them both, but I think this one has just got that bit more of a oomph to it, using exactly the same stamping technique. Okay, so I hope that's been useful, and I hope you enjoyed it, and that you give it a go. I'd love to know if you've given this technique a try. Okay, so like I say, this video does go alongside the blog hop for today. Just click in that description, head over to the blog, have a look at all the other girls' projects too. So they'll have all done some nice simple stamping projects for you too. Okay, thanks ever so much everybody. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all soon. Take care, bye.